We all love with action figures, came with something to make the action figures just a little bit cool. Sometimes maybe it was a gun that squirted water. Sometimes, horribly, it was a plastic ring. But what about times action figures came with a parachute? They were guaranteed to break within the first 30 seconds. Let's take a look at some. Guys, today we're going to talk about when action figures came with parachutes, or maybe when parachutes came with figures. Some of these we're going to look at, of course, standard, Batman, Superman, a Darth Vader I bet you didn't even know they made, and some of them are just generic that's more aimed at the parachute company. Going to sell a parachute, going to have a little figure on it that really has no detail, not really based on anything. But there's a lot of them because it seemed like maybe starting in the 60s and 70s it really took off. There was a parachute craze. And you know these parachutes, they got string on them, you roll them up and throw them up in the air and they would glide down and the string would get all twisted up in the first 30, 40 seconds of playing with this thing. You spend half the time trying to undo the string and hoping that it don't break. The parachute would break, get stuck in a tree. How many action figures did you get stuck in a tree? A lot of them, I'm sure. How many action figures did you get stuck in a tree? A lot of them, I'm sure you did. So we're going to dig through these, look at some from the 70s, the 80s, maybe in the 90s, and take a look at them. And let's just get started with it. I mean, we're going way back here. Look at this. I don't know the exact release date of this one right here, but it has to be late 60s, right? And it's Bong. No, it's not Bong. It's Superman with a parachute. Now, when we talk about these parachute figures, a lot of times your first thing in your mind is going to pop up is just generic ones. It's like this right here. Just a little green army man and you throw him up and the parachute goes down. Like I said, it's a lot, especially if you lived in a house that had 2 stories or higher where you could drop them out of the window. That was always a lot of fun. That was a place at my little school at the roof of my house where I could drop them, get on top of the school and drop them off. And that was kind of fun because you didn't have risk throwing them up and getting them stuck in a tree. Now, not only did they have action figures hooked to these parachutes, they also have bombs. Look at these. You put these little caps in this one, and when the metal hits the ground, it makes a pop. Poof. And I don't know why. What kid's gonna throw a piece of metal up? I mean, it just don't. I mean, what company's gonna make it so a kid throws a piece of metal up? It just seems very unsafe. But this was a long time ago, back when we didn't care about safe and stuff. We just cared more about fun. Fun came first. Fun, and then down the line came safety. But let's dig into some more of these. How about this right here? That's right, Star Trek. Can you believe it? Captain Kirk was even a parachute figure. And Spock, you could get that. I don't think it was a McCoy. McCoy wasn't even getting the transporter. How, you know he ain't going to jump out of the Enterprise in a parachute. But there it is right there, skydiving parachute, Captain Kirk. And we have Batman. You see a lot of superheroes. I could have done a whole video. There's so many different ones of all the superheroes. So I'm just going to look at a few of them. But here's Batman right here with his parachute. Again, the parachutes were kind of cheap. And they're going to... I can't stress enough how bad these things really were. I mean, they were fun when they worked. Don't get me wrong. They were a lot of fun when they worked. But a lot of times, like I said, the string get all tangled up pretty fast. Parachute gets stuck in a tree. It was just too much risk with this toy. And you have this right here, right there. If you ever wanted a boy wonder to land in your backyard on a parachute, now you could with Robin for the Batman collection. That's right, Robin parachute. And how about this one right here? Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man had a lot. They even made it. Well, we'll get to it later. They made a Spider-Man in the 90s with a parachute. But we'll get into that a little bit later. There's Spider-Man right there. I think I remember having a Spider-Man. A lot of the parachute stuff I had was like generic ones, but I think I remember having a Spider-Man one. And then we have Captain America. Even Captain America needs a parachute. I guess the only superhero that doesn't really need a parachute is Superman because he can fly. If you can fly, why do you need a parachute? And then we have another Spider-Man. I just want to look at this card art. Look at this thing. It looks like some bootleg Spider-Man. I'm not really sure. It just looks really weird. Spider-Man's all capitalized. It's a weird looking one. I guess this is really early 2000s because it's got the Spider-Man movie logo down there, but it just really looks really generic, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about, throw up on here and let you take a look at it because I bet you've never seen it before. But who knows? Maybe you're a little kid that grew up in Cuba, and this is the Spider-Man toy you remember playing with. But did you play with this one right here? No, you didn't, because this was a store display. stores would put these up, and it'd be a little box that had a little fan inside, shot air up, and you could see, like the Batman here, it would expand the parachute, and you could just hang from the sky. It was kind of, I don't know if it was kind of, I was going to say it was kind of neat, but I never seen this thing, but it looks like it'd be pretty neat. It'd be kind of cool if you could find this store display to put in your toy collection, doesn't it? And then we had this right here. Yep. Even damn apes was coming down in parachutes. Yes, I don't know if this is Cornelius or not, but there it is, Planet of the Apes. I made a few different ones, but we're just going to look at this one right here. Parachute. Look at those apes coming down off a parachute. And then we have, yeah, even the cars have parachutes for the Evil Knievel collection. A dragster with a parachute on it. That's how fast this thing drags. Man, this thing goes so you gotta have a parachute to slow it down. And check this out right here. I couldn't find a He-Man parachute figure, but I found this. And it's gotta be hooked to a parachute, right? If not, that's one. Why is his arm so small? Look at that. That is one ugly He-Man. Ah. Looks like who painted this thing? Looks like it was painted by a retarded albino. Let's move on here. How about this right here? Yep. Cosmic parachute. Buck Rogers. And that's the girl from Buck Rogers. Like, who? There's a girl in Buck Rogers? I just remember Buck Rogers. Well, if you didn't see the girl on it, you missed a lot. Check this out. Whew. That's the girl from Buck Rogers. Whew. A lot of us boys back then, we discovered that we were turning into men thanks to that. Let's move on right here. She was on Silver Spoons also. Remember Silver Spoons? But let's move on. And how about this right here? Yep, Sergeant Rock. I did a whole video a while back about Sergeant Rock, and even one of those figures had a parachute. And he's a commando. Move over, Arnold. And then we got, yep, the Ninja Turtles got into the act. A Ninja Turtle. Man, I've seen apes with parachutes. Now you got turtles. Not just turtles, not just ninjas, they're turtles, teenagers. You don't want to fight a teenager Ninja Turtle. That just sounds crazy. And how about this right here? James Bond Jr. I don't know if the original James Bond Sr. ever had a parachute, but I know James Bond Jr. did. And there he is right there. And then we have Batman. Batman of the 90s, the animated series, had a parachute. Remember this one right here? It had a little backpack on it. It would come out of the back so you get a little storage place for it. So maybe you didn't have to worry about it get tangled up. Because these parachutes, you had to get the rope around the figure so you wouldn't get tangled up. But it would get tangled up anyway. But there it is right there. And who remembers this one right here? G.I. Joe. Even G.I. Joe got in the act. Well, that seems like it would. That seems like something they would do. That seems like something G.I. I mean, I'm surprised. What? Why is that guy standing like that? I never really got into I never really understand G.I. Joe. Call it shit like that. Let's move on. How about this right here? G.I. Joe again. I forgot they made G.I. Joe figures based on this god-awful movie. Now, I'll be honest, I never saw the movie. I don't know if it's god-awful, but I see the Rock's in it, so I can just assume it was a god-awful. I mean, has he ever done anything that wasn't? And how about this right here? Rambo. Rambo got in the act. He's going to get his parachute and land in a POW camp. Yep, Rambo right there. No shirt. He's the only one I've seen so far that can parachute in somewhere without a shirt on. That's a damn real man if I ever seen one. How about this right here? Yep, Spider-Man. Told you he was going to come back in the 90s with a parachute, and that he did. He even comes with a ring. Remember the teaser at the beginning of the video? The little intro, I said something about sometimes figures came with rings. I don't understand that. I don't know why action figures aimed for boys came with rings, but a lot of them did. A lot of them did. But there he is with his parachute. And then we have Captain Planet, a girl parachute lady. Yeah, a girl in a parachute. Look at that. Look at that picture at the top. Looks like something you see in some declassified 1950s UFO document. Where the government's like, oh, it wasn't a UFO, it was a weather balloon. It was a girl tied to a parachute. At least that's what I thought when I looked at it. How about this right here? Mickey Mouse got into that. You even had cartoon parachute figures. Yep, there's Goofy back there. You think they made a Goofy on a parachute? They probably did. They did do this one right here. Yep, Snoopy. Snoopy, hang on. Snoopy, hang on. You don't got to tell me in the comments. That's not the words to the song. It is when I was a kid, okay? Okay, it's like that song, Bad Moon Rising, you know. There's a bad moon on the right. But as a kid, there's a bathroom on the right. You just have to do that sometimes. So Snoopy, hang on. You don't got to tell me in the comments. How about this right here? Yep, I don't know exactly what this is, but I saw this kid holding it, and it looked fucking huge. I guess it's more of a glider than a parachute, but I wanted to throw it up on here. But you know what else? Even girls got into the act. Yep, look at this. Barbie. Notice how all these we look at, which one's wearing a helmet? The one for the girls. Even the girl from Planet of the Apes. Even the girl from Captain Planet. She didn't even need a helmet. Leave it to Barbie. And that's the cleanest camouflage I've ever seen. That's somebody that's never seen combat right there. Speaking of Barbie, check this out right here. I guess this is not really technically a parachute, but what do they call it? Parasailing. This is, you hold the figure, you run with it, and the parachute goes up in the air. I know, it doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound fun, but in the 90s, I guess they try to take the theme of dropping figures with a parachute to this. Kids running around holding the figure. I guess if you let go, maybe it'd fly up a little bit. I'm not really sure. But they also made this right here. Spider-Man was back. No parachute. Now he's parasailing. Right there. And they even did one based on a wrestler. WWF or WWC, WCW, whatever you want to call it right here. But there it is right there, the fake Crow guy. Never liked this guy because he tried to take the look of the Crow. I was like, okay, the Crow was a big hit movie. A lot of us grew up, it seemed like movie was just made for us Generation X kids when we hit in our early 20s. The Crow, that was a great time period. And here comes this guy. What's his name? Sting. Can't even take an original name. Stole that from the Police. And here just used the same makeup as the Crow. Get over it. Come up with your own character. Get the out of here. But I promise you, a Darth Vader you never seen. And it also came from this parasail line, kite, whatever you want to call it. That damn boy needs that boy don't have a shirt on. I hate when I see a kid without a shirt on. When I was a little kid, I used to hate it. I had a kid across the street named Mike. He would come out in the summer with no shirt on. He said, "You try me?" I used to hate it. Oh, either that or a mesh shirt. It'd be a shirt up to here, and the rest of you can see. I don't like seeing kid nipples. Sorry, I don't like seeing adult nipples. Maybe a woman nipple, but I don't like seeing nipples on dudes. I don't like seeing dude nipples. But let's move on. We're talking about a Darth Vader that you've probably never seen before. Check this out. There he is, Darth Vader. Now, I was playing with toys. This is 90s. If I was playing with toys, though, I might have to get this Darth Vader and be like, look, he escaped from the Death Star. And his parachute. I know it's not a parachute. It's not really a parachute. But I'm going to say it is. And it flies like a kite. This figure just looks so heavy when you let go. I guess you're supposed to just hold it. But if you let go, you know it's all going to fall on the ground because it looks so heavy. But I don't know. If you're into collecting Star Wars stuff, it'd be kind of cool to have this, wouldn't it? Back in the people are like, what is that? I bet you don't know. I bet most people have never seen this. But who knows? Maybe you were a kid back then and you had this one. Maybe you did. But I doubt it. If you did, you can put it in the comments. You'll tell me that you had it, and we'll all have to wonder: is he lying or did you really have it? Who knows? But did you play with the parachute figures? Did the string get all tangled up within the first few minutes of it? Did the parachute break? I used to remember trying to tape the parachute back on because I always had a little hole, and the hole was really close to the edge, so it would rip really easy. You know, try to tape it back, and then the tape weighs more on that side of the parachute than the other side. It never works. It never works again. So let me know in the comments below. Did you play with parachute figures? And did you have any parachute pants? Be honest. Let me know in the comments below.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.